Right, let's do another video. And for this video, I'm not sitting at home. So there's no cows for you to watch. I'm out having my lunch in the middle of Siem Reap. So sitting at a little outdoor cafe restaurant, eating some very nice food. And you can watch the traffic go by for the next few minutes while I explain what this video is about. This video is about what I've been doing in Southeast Asia when I was forced to move there because of my lung illness. And so this basically my first years in Southeast Asia, which was from about 2003. When I moved over there, it was a very sad time because my family in the UK were not willing to move with me, which is absolutely understandable. So I had to go on my own, and with many regular trips back to the UK. But every time I went to England, I got ill again. For example, sometime, I think around 2008, I went back to the UK for the funeral of my dear dad, who died at 89 years old. So, okay, we had a good innings. I came back from his funeral and I was hospitalised in Bangkok at the Omrangrad Hospital, hospitalised for 1 week with severe pneumonia. So it wasn't a good time. There were good times and bad times, and for the sake of my families, I'm not really going to go into the details, the personal details of what went on in those years from about 2003 to 2008, because they're not here to give their side of the story, and it's not really fair for me to give a one-sided side of the story. But suffice to say, there were ups and downs, and as time went on, there were more downs, and things got very bad. And for me personally, it was like the absolutely lowest point of my life. I felt very sad about it. Friends of mine in Phuket, both Thai friends and foreign friends, knew about the circumstances that was causing all these problems and sympathised and helped very much. One friend had a little bungalow, a little beach house up at Khao Lak, which is sort of probably about 50 kilometres north of Phuket. And they gave me the keys to their beach house because they were living in the USA. They said, if everything gets too much, go up there for a few days and have a rest. And so many times I would go up to this beach house. There was nobody there. It was on an absolute remote beach in Khao Lak. And I would spend the day walking up and down the beach. Because of the currents, the sea currents, they moved millions and millions of seashells and bits of coral onto the beach. And so it was almost like a paradise of colours, rainbow colours of every kind of seashell you can imagine on this beach, seashells and broken seashells. I would walk up and down that beach for hours feeling so sorry for myself, and woe is me. What have I done to be in such a terrible situation? I'm not religious, but I did say, well, if there is a God up there, come on, can you help me get out of this terrible situation? And I won't forget. I'll do my best to pay back in the future if I can just get out of this situation. What I really needed was a job. Was an independent job, and friends said, well, why don't you become a teacher? Well, I'm not a teacher, and they said that's not a problem, and it was true at that time. You could get as a foreigner, if you could speak English, you could get a job teaching at government schools. You didn't really need to have teaching qualifications. I had my science qualifications, degree and master's degree, and that absolutely was fine to get me a job teaching at a government school. But this really wasn't a great future, about $1,000 a month with no career prospects at all, because I lacked teaching qualifications. If I had teaching qualifications, I could get a job at an international school, $3,000 or $4,000 a month, and have some form of, even at my age, have career prospects. But my friend said, no, don't get a job teaching in Thailand. Go and teach in Myanmar. I said, Myanmar? Burma? Why? He said, because, well, put it bluntly, he said, they'll take anybody. They said, as long as you have a pulse, Yeah, as long as your heart is beating. They do have an age limit, a maximum age limit that you can teach at, which is about 120 years old. If you're older than that, you need to get your parents to personally guarantee you. This is my sense of humour, by the way. They said nobody wants to teach in Myanmar because it's a hardship location. Yeah, there's, it's a very underdeveloped country. The hospitals are terrible. The educational system is terrible. There are no big shopping centres. The transport is terrible. The internet is terrible. There are power cuts, electricity cuts daily. Basically, you must be mad or desperate to want to teach in Myanmar. And Simon, you can do it. I've never thought of this before, but they said, Simon, trust me, if you apply for a job teaching in Myanmar, you'll get the job, no problems at all, and it'll get you out of the situation which we all know you are in at the moment. Go for it. And so I went for it. And in the next video, I'll tell you about my early experiences teaching in Yangon.